Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is September 6th, and right now we're looking at the visible/infrared satellite imagery. You can see the sun rising across North America. There's BC, Washington, Oregon, and we're going to build a nice ridge across the region as we go through this week and on into the weekend here. It's going to allow things to warm up across Pacific Northwest. Our next trough is here across western Alaska, slow moving out over the Gulf of Alaska. Not a very strong system, but it's going to try to swing through western BC here. We'll look at those details as well. A reminder, live stream tonight. You got to be in the chat. You got to be a member of the page to win this station. So click on that join button down below if you want to be involved in this giveaway tonight. And if you want to buy the station outright, click on that link down below to save 10% off. Check out this next system rolling through this weekend, maybe an AR1 here, very weak compared to what we usually get in the fall and winter months here, but I'm just kind of introducing everybody back to the scale again, based on duration and the amount of integrated vapor transport that comes across the area here. So you can see it goes all the way from weak, moderate, strong, extreme, and exceptional here. And this is the European model that I showed this morning. Now we're looking at air quality index, not too bad across a lot of Washington, Oregon here, unless you're around the immediate vicinity of some of these forest fires. The worst smoke is further north you go and on to the east across Alberta and Montana. Looking at SeaTac yesterday, 70 degrees, 5 degrees below average. Not a bad day out there. Lots of sunshine, though. No precipitation, and the next chance for it's going to be towards the end of the weekend here, but not great chances. But we'll take a look at that here in a moment. You can see Spokane. The warm-up goes all the way through Sunday. Then that trough dampers temperatures a little bit here as we go through Monday and Tuesday coming up here. Now looking at the thunderstorm chance for the next couple of days, generally east of Spokane and Pendleton across Idaho and Montana. There's day 1 and there's day 2 shown there. So nothing too nasty rolling through with this round of this trough, this weak one that's swinging through as we speak this morning. We'll take a look at the actual trough and then how the ridge is going to build after that here in a moment. But you can see some of this precipitation across some of the higher terrain, the Blue Mountains, Idaho and Montana as we go through tomorrow afternoon. And here goes our next system, though, out here across Pacific. You can see it's producing some pretty good amounts here as it approaches Haida Gwaii here in some of western BC. It doesn't get towards the Washington coast too much here and maybe a little bit down the Oregon coast, but not an exceptionally strong system, although it will cool things off a bit here as we go towards early next week. Now, this is looking at the GFS. Same map as what I just showed with the European model here. You can kind of see the thunderstorm activity potentially on in through Friday before that pushes off to the east, and the next system starts to make its way towards Vancouver Island here, and the GFS shows even less precipitation making it towards Washington and Oregon as we go on in through next week. Maybe a little bit of precip trying to ring out across BC and western Washington, but not too much here. And then if we go off into the extended, you can see another ridge potentially building, and then maybe another system approaching from the southwest here. We'll watch that as we go, though. They're way off into fantasy land at this point. This is into the GFS last night's run. We've got Alaska, BC, Washington, Oregon, California here. You can see that trough, the weak one swinging through right now, maybe kicking off some thunderstorms the next couple afternoons again, mainly east of Spokane across Idaho and Montana. But then you can see the ridge that starts to build up through BC and Alberta here. And then the next trough tries to swing through here. And then the parent trough kind of hanging out here across the Gulf of Alaska, moving into southeast Alaska here. Ridge moves off to the east. The hurricane on the east coast, by the way. And then another ridge looks like it may try to develop through fantasy land here. But we'll watch this as we go. This would warm us up again quite nicely here through mid-September also as another system that approaches the west coast. Purely fantasy at this point. Right now, we're dealing with the ridge that's going to come through the weekend first, and that very weak system swinging through Vancouver Island. So let me replay that again here. There's that initial trough. Big ridge builds as we go through this weekend, and then that weak system swings into western BC. Now, taking a look here at the European last night's run. Pretty good agreement in the short term, of course. Trough moves through. Ridge builds up into BC and Alberta here, allowing us to warm up. And then the GFS is a little bit weak with the system. The European a little bit stronger as this approaches northwest Vancouver Island here. Just a very little minor warm-up of what we're going to get probably here during the fall and winter months. But yeah, that's as far as it goes, 144 hours there on the European. Now, looking at SeaTac, you can see the warm-up as we go Saturday, Sunday. Nice weekend coming up. Then that trough tries to swing through, drops temperatures back down a bit. Then the potential for, again, a warm-up in some above average conditions here as we go through mid-September. This is Spokane, something similar there. This is Seattle on the GFS. Check it out. It could be up towards the mid-80s on Saturday. Sunday, maybe another 80-degree day here before that trough tries to bring temperatures down a bit as we go through early and mid next week. This is Spokane. Look at this, some nice 80s, mid-80s possible this weekend. And this is Seattle-Tacoma. You can see that system here. It does show a little bit of precip trying to roll in here, but as you can see, the ensemble mean is around 0.05 of an inch. Not too big of a deal, but it will cool us down as we roll on in through Monday if it continues if it continues to trend as getting in here. It wouldn't shock me at all if it starts to back off on some of those precipitation totals a little bit here. We're still pretty early in the season. This is looking at Hoquiam. Check it out. A little bit better chances for that precip to impact places like the Washington coastline and Vancouver Island, western BC. This is Tillamook. Can't rule out some precipitation from that system as you get all the way down to the Oregon coast as well. Nootka Station out there. I showed this yesterday as well. Kind of midway up on the Vancouver Island coastline there. So if you're looking at this and you see 25, that would be about 25 millimeters, which is about 2.5 centimeters, which equals 1 inch. So not bad totals showing up here in some of the model runs. The further north along the coastline you go. Here's looking at a fantasy windstorm hunt, maybe just some blustery conditions there. Nothing at all to be worried about as far as windstorms go here across Pacific Northwest well into British Columbia. And there's what that Nootka Station is here on Vancouver Island. Kind of interesting there. Anyway, looking at the daily 2-meter max temperatures, you can see today, maybe bouncing up into the mid-70s, and we go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Look, we start to bounce back up here towards 80 degrees, maybe for Western Washington, into the mid-80s for the Willamette Valley. Then we, still pretty warm here on Sunday. Then we drop down a little bit here as this trough's going to swing by here as we go through the mid-portion of this week. But still, some pretty nice temperatures and nice weather coming up here through this weekend at least. This is Astoria, a little fantasy windstorm hunt. Nothing at all to be concerned about, of course, there, but this will change here as we start to go on in through the fall months. This is looking at 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook. You can see this potential ridging here as we go through mid-September. This goes from the 11th to the 15th here, and this is the 13th through the 19th here, and again with this above average signal here across Pacific Northwest. 6 to 10 day below average signal here all the way through mid-September, and that continues on through September 19th as well. And I showed this one yesterday. Here's another view of it here. This is the European seasonal, so you go month by month. You go September, October, November, December. Now by the time we get towards January is what I want to kind of highlight here. As you can see, look at this troughing out over the Pacific Ocean. This is kind of a classic El Nino signature with a stronger than normal subtropical jet stream. And during La Nina years, we tend to get this ridging here, and we get the more variable jet stream with the more cold air intrusions. But this would be more of a southwest flow into the west coast here, which would bring above normal temperatures and even potentially below normal precipitation to the Pacific Northwest. I mean, nothing's set in stone, and obviously it's going to vary as we go through the fall and winter months. But right now, California and places like the Southwest USA could, they look targeted here for some above average precipitation versus the Pacific Northwest, which could be looking at some below average precipitation and above average temperature. So just something to watch for now, kind of long-term signals we're just looking at here, looking at the tea leaves. But anyway, yeah, so stay tuned. I'll put out that update today for the live stream. I've gotten some pretty good engagement here. I've got a lot of emails on about giving away that Davis weather station here as well. So keep them coming. I have to be pretty picky about it. I'm going to try to choose the best location for the setup here. And again, I'm looking for Enumclaw Black Diamond, some of the coastal areas here. And, I got an email yesterday for somebody up towards the Fraser River Valley. That's a good idea as well. Maybe the Columbia River Gorge. And if I keep getting, if I have more than one good setup, it's possible that I may just purchase another myself and set it up there because I want to have the best wind readings around. I'd love to have one up towards the Fraser River Valley. I'd like to have one for the Stampede Gap, the Columbia River Gap, Washington, Oregon coastline here, maybe even good wind readings across some of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, the Seattle-Portland Metro, and east of the mountains as well, maybe even up in the mountains, and California also. And I may mention it during the California video that I do next. But anyway, keep the emails coming if you have a good wind run here and you are not obscured by trees, and we can get a nice pole up there with an anemometer on there and get some nice wind readings. I'm definitely interested, and I'll have to come visit the site. We'll have to go through all the logistics and everything like that. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Enjoy this nice warm weather as we go through the month of September. It looks like it's going to be above average temperature-wise here. Then we'll have a weak system swing through and maybe even build another ridge after that. So anyway, kids are back to school now, it looks like. And so the weather's starting to change here, but it never hurts to have an above average September here. Make some nice weather and prolong our summer weather here a little bit. Maybe some 80-degree temperatures showing up here this weekend for Seattle. But anyway, so live stream tonight. Hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys tonight, hopefully.